I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Atlanta Motor Speedway, located about 20 miles south of downtown Atlanta in Hampton, Georgia, has come a very long way from its first race held in 1960 and won by NASCAR legend Fireball Roberts, who also took the pole at 133 miles per hour. Spectators from that day who watched from one small grandstand or on blankets spread out on an adjacent dirt bank wouldn't begin to recognize the facility today, even down to its name. Dubbed Atlanta International Raceway when it opened, the track struggled financially through the 1960s and 1970s before finding a degree of stability in the 80s. Real change came following Bruton Smith's purchase of the facility in 1990, with the transformation of Atlanta International Speedway occurring in 1997 with an extensive reconfiguration that switched front and back straightaways and added a double dogleg in the new front stretch. In the 7 intervening years, new grandstands sprouted up almost every year, and a 9-story tower, Terra Place, that houses the track offices and a number of luxury condominiums. Atlanta has been a staple on the NASCAR calendar for decades, and tonight it's the Garza Law Firm Hotlanta 100, and it's next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway for tonight's Hotlanta 100. Practice just about wrapped up here. A few minutes remaining. Let's take a look at the details here. 79-degree ambient temperature, 55% humidity, clear skies, 2-mile-per-hour breeze. Track temperature, it's a little warm, 122 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're at the old school Atlanta layout. So this place is going to chew up some tires here tonight. Let's go track side, see where everyone is stacking up in the timing tower. Sizemore currently the fastest over a somewhat unfamiliar name. That's the 04 of Brett Kuzik. Back in action here on the oval. Brett's also got a pretty extensive road racing background. Drew Blaze, third quick, 31:15. Then it's Justin Johnson, Mike Fahey. Fahey also named it. Well, some of you, if you're rather new here, you may not recognize. Fahey's been gone for a little while, not too terribly long, but good to have Mike back. Fahey with some new colors on his truck. Was the 19, now it's the 9. Honestly, a pretty good looking truck. Mike Fahey, of course, owner of Fahey Race Wraps. He does all his own paints, folks. Just about a minute remaining in this session. Of course, only our second race of the season here last week at Auto Club, of course, here at Old Atlanta. Next week, on the 10th of August, we roll into the Monster Mile at Dover, Delaware, then Chicagoland on the 17th. That one, unfortunately, will not be broadcasted, at least not by us, as I'll be trackside at Watkins Glen. And ironically, the following week on the 24th, LSR is going to be at Watkins Glen for a 30-lap race. And last race of the month on the 31st, not at Talladega. Practice just about wrapped up here. A couple of seconds left on the clock, and we'll get right into qualifying. It'll be 2 laps, 5 minutes maximum to set the field. Practice concludes. Well, let's take a look here, see who hits the pit lane first. Looks like it's going to be Randy coaching. Randy's got the 19. Qualifying just getting underway here tonight. Once again, if you're just joining us, it is the Garza Law Firm Hot Atlanta 100. 100 laps, 150 miles. Once again, they're only going to have 2 change sets of tires to work with here tonight. Of course, 1 set already bolted up on the truck. Really, the strategy you're going to have to employ is to make the decision what's more important. Save a set for the end or just be consistent with the average across each stint. Randy out of turn number 4, going to cross the stripe here, lock his first lap in. 31:59, provisional pole for now. Brett Guzik on his second lap. No, this is his out lap. Drew Blaze currently fastest now, 31:42. There's no 5th gear in these trucks, but either Guzik's out of the throttle or he's in the wrong gear. Just taking the green flag. It looks like he's going to waste this lap here, try to build a ton of momentum as Fahey goes P1 at 31:22. .32.537 for Guzik the first time by. Not quite up to par. Again, probably a waste lap, which is perfectly fine. And my apologies, looks like we've still got last week's timing tower logo from race number 1. We'll get that fixed here in just a moment. .31.15, Guzik goes to the point, takes the top spot away from Drew Blaze by about half a tenth. Timmy Stubblefield finishing up 31.421, little connection issue at the end of that lap. Andy Sizemore on the racetrack. .31.335 is going to put Sizemore in the 8th spot. He's still on track to turn another lap. PJ Cox finishing up his run, puts himself in the 4th position. Dan Storm now on the racetrack. Oh, a little loose out of turn number 2. He gathers it up. Does he keep it off the wall? Just a little scrape, but that's going to do it for lap 2. Brian Shepard, 31.71 first time. .31.329 for Shepard, just noses into the top 10 for P9. Heath Snyder on the track, lap 1 for the 29, where Heath was awful quick last week. And not enough time. 5 minutes has elapsed, so it has come to a conclusion. The field is set here at Atlanta. Let's get a look at it here. Your starting grid for the Hotlanta 100 LSR Truck Series round number 2. On the pole position with a lap time of 31.151. It's the 04 of Brett Guzik. Starting on the outside front row in the number 1, it's Drew Blaze. Second row, third spot, Mike Fahey back in the number 9. Starting 4th, it's the Iceman, Andy Sizemore. Starting third row, starting 5th, PJ Cox in the 05. Starting 6th, it's the 10X of Justin Johnson with Kevin Winker starting 7th and Chris Watkins rolling from P8. Starting from the 9th position in the number 88 machine out of Florida, it's Brian Shepard. Derek Welch, the NTR 01, he'll round out the top 10. 11th goes to Jarrett Haynes. Mitchell Howell is going to start in the 12th position, the number 93. Brandon Domain rolls P13 in the 13. John Timms will start 14th. Timmy Stubblefield starting 15th. 16th goes to Scott Beardmore. Chris Goins, the number 41, will roll from the 17th starting position. Randy Coaching starting 18th. 19th goes to Ken Couch. Michael Eden will get that 20th starting spot. Kyle Morrison starts 21st. Chris Klein 22nd. Dominic Rossi 23rd. Dan Storm 24th. Heath Snyder 25th. Didn't finish his lap in qualifying. Then it's Sean Roberts 26th and shotgun on the field in the Penny Blue number 43. It's Jonathan Arnn. Your starting lineup here for the Hotlanta 100 LSR Truck Series race number 2. Field starting to pull away here to begin their one and only formation lap. Will be going green the next time by. Chris Goins in the stream chat saying no pit penalties, fingers crossed. Had a rough week last week, couple of mistakes, missing the box, and then a speeding penalty kind of aced him. He had a fast truck. He just kind of threw it away on the pit stops. See if he can recoup that this week here at Atlanta. Terry Crouch also chiming in, says no right turns. Terry Crouch obviously dyed-in-the-wool road course driver. Working off turn number 4 here. Going to see the green flag, I believe, this time by. Doesn't look like they're going to wave this one off. Pace car hard left down the pit lane. Barney with the green in hand.
Green flag.
We're racing from Atlanta. First lap in the books, Brett Guzik shows the way. Mike Fahey locked right into the tailgate of the 04, dives into the bottom in the middle of 1 and 2, trying to take a move here for the top spot. Not enough of a run to make it happen. Tucks back in behind down the back straightaway. Top three, it's Guzik, Fahey, and Blaze. Blaze also known not to fire right out of the cannon, right out of the gate. Will take his time, get into a rhythm, start to break down this race lap by lap. Highly expected to see Drew Blaze in contention for at least the top three, possibly even the win here tonight. Fahey looking awful racy behind Brett Guzik, wants the race lead, pick up some points. As the run into 1 and 2 gets alongside, Guzik may have the run out of the corner down the backstretch. Indeed he does. Pulls back around, but Fahey's still there. Guzik not clear. Back into turns 3 and 4. Fahey can't keep it pinned on the bottom, has to lift, chases it up the track just a touch. Fight continues for the top spot. Looks like Fahey might be a tick quicker though. Last lap, Guzik was about half a tenth faster, though Fahey does have the faster overall lap thus far, but in only by 100. Fahey looking to the bottom again. Nose alongside the left rear of Brett Guzik, but still not enough of a run. Fahey drives it alongside another time. Down the backstretch, continuing to race this one out. I gotta wonder how long they're gonna really try and do this, just considering how abrasive this old racing surface is here at Atlanta. They're gonna chew up these tires awfully quick. Again, only 2 sets over the wall for them to work with. I know that seems like perfect amount for 100 laps. Yeah, most places probably, but not here on this old worn out surface at Atlanta. This is pre-repave, so this place super, super aggressive on tires. Top 3 have gotten away from the rest of the field. The next in line is 4th Andy Sizemore, finding himself about 2.4 seconds back from the race leaders. Meanwhile, following up with Drew Blaze in that 3rd spot, he's starting to close the gap on Mike Fahey. He's going to take a peek down low, take the 2nd spot away. Still not quite clear, though, through the dog leg into turn number 1. Blaze goes down to the bottom. Fahey up in the top groove. This is kind of what we were talking about just a handful of laps ago. You don't want to burn up your stuff too soon. And how Drew Blaze typically isn't going full tilt on that first couple of laps. Wants to get into a groove, into a rhythm, and then start picking guys off. Well, 10 laps in, he's starting to pick them off. Disposes of Mike Fahey, now takes the 2nd spot. Blaze way up the racetrack into what we would expect to be some of the marbles, but if you can get that top groove to come in, you can build a hellacious run out of the corner and down the backstretch. He does use that to put some distance between himself and the 9, a couple of car lengths at least entering into turn 3, and only a car length and a half between himself and the race lead out of turn 4. see it there once again. Blaze going way up the racetrack, trying to work in that top groove. Drew Blaze, more of a dirt racer by trade, I guess you could say, so he's certainly accustomed to running the cushion the top of the racetrack. Changing lanes, trying to find grip. Something that Drew Blaze is very good at, along with pretty good car control. Guzik still with the race lead, though, running away with it for now. He's led every lap to this point, but Blaze inching closer every lap. Other battles through the field. Ken Couch back in the 18th position, just ahead of Chris Klein. Just behind John Timms. Timms running there in 17th, working on the 11 of Rossi. Rossi goes up the racetrack, somewhat opens the door at the bottom. Timms slides up, not enough room to go all the way up the racetrack. Now Ken Couch fighting back. He's got Chris Klein on the tailgate, though. He's got to be careful there. Chris Klein now under pressure with Chris Watkins down on the low side. Number 5 Toyota tucks back in behind through the dog leg. Want to check on Heath Snyder here. He's only up a couple of spots from qualifying. Looking for another one here down into the corner. Seems like Heath's just taking care of his stuff here. No need to push the issue and chew up the tires, just to work through the field when you're going to get them on the long run. If we get these long runs like so far we have, I think between pit stops under the green flag, entering and exiting pit lane, I think Heath's going to be able to work through the field and make a lot of those passes for position within the pit lane. Chris Goins cracking into the top 10. He's made up a lot of spots, 8 to be exact since the drop of the green. Old school paint scheme on the number 41 with Popple adorned on the side. It's a throwback to the HBR days. Popple was a primary sponsor of that race team. Meanwhile, looks like we're getting another battle for the lead shaping up here. Blaze has closed the gap to within a 1/10 and a half. Back to the dog leg, a truck length between the two. Again, Drew's no dummy. He's not going to abuse his stuff just to take the lead here. Not even 20 laps in, but if he can get there, if he's got the pace and he can get it done relatively clean without hurting the tires, I think he's going to get it done. Meanwhile, Fahey has dropped back considerably. About 2 seconds from this group. %60 fuel capacity. We talked about that early on in the broadcast. Curious to see how far they're going to be able to go. I know a recent race that we broadcasted here on Monday, the IROC Challenge Series, they ran the Gen 4 Cup car here, and I think it was about a 65% fuel load, if I remember correctly. And again, that's a stretch. I think they were making their pit stops between lap 25 and 30. If you were in good fuel save mode, you could stretch it maybe to 33, 34. We'll see how it pans out with the truck. Certainly a lot more drag involved with these big, tall racing machines. Not the old ARCA or Gen 4 Cup car. Very sleek into the wind, but a ton more horsepower, so maybe it evens out. Guzik way up the racetrack. I don't know if that was the plan or accidental, but he gets up within a couple of inches of the safer barrier in turns 1 and 2. And in fact, Blaze closes down considerably on corner exit. I think that might have been just a minor slip for the 04. Back up the racetrack again. I don't know, maybe he's just trying to find some grip out there. Blaze all over the tailgate of the 04 into turn 1. He might make a move to the bottom here. Nope, thinks better of it. Still goes low. Guzik goes way up the track. Blaze grabbing the left side, hitting that white line. Helps the truck rotate a little bit. On board with Brett Guzik, looking out the left side. Second place running Drew Blaze, but for how long? I think it's just a matter of time. Back down into the corner. Blaze edges out in front just a bit, not clear yet. Guzik once again gets the run out of the corner. The high lane is kind of where you kind of need to be, especially if you're losing grip, not getting the corner speed that you want to have. At least this allows you to build some momentum out of the corners and down the straightaway, in this case into the dog leg. Brett able to stretch it out to about 2.5 tenths over Drew Blaze once again. Kevin Winker in the 4th position, battling with Brandon Domain for position. Winker, the number 42 on the top side. Brandon Domain, the number 13 Toyota down low. There you have it, some drivers hitting pit lane already. Mitchell Howell coming down the pit lane. First driver to pull off here and hit pit service. I don't see any damage to the truck, so this appears to be a scheduled stop for the number 93. Comes to a stop in his pit box here. Does he have to back it up? Looks like he went a little too deep, but he might be okay. Fuel only, it appears, though. Yes, indeed. Down and away, just topping off the tank and back into the fight. Loses a lap in the process, but now his pit stop's complete. Just past quarter distance here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Green flag stops just starting to get underway. So we still have a battle continuing for the top spot with Brett Guzik and Drew Blaze. Other battles through the field. Still Kevin Winker and Brandon Domain. Domain to the bottom. They might make this a 3-wide battle here in just a minute with Fahey on the bottom, but no, Fahey's actually going to pull off. He's going to hit the pits as well. Howell making the first move to come to pit lane. It started to drag the rest of these guys down. Man, that is a good-looking truck. Well done, Mike Fahey, well done. Except for the Ford part. What were you thinking? I'm just kidding. So Fahey, will he be fuel only as well? Looks like it. Stays on the ground. Going to continue on. Brett Guzik now from the race lead. Hits the pit road here. Drew Blaze is going to inherit the top spot, so he's going to likely pick up some bonus points here. And interestingly enough, Guzik's going to take at least rights. Again, only 2 sets over the wall, so he's going to burn one right now, which means the midsection of this race is going to be a struggle. Either way, Guzik drops the jack, 4 tires, Sunoco race fuel, he's down and away. Drew Blaze now, he makes his trip to pit road. Let's see what the 1 does. Drew Blaze putting tires on as well. So varying strategies here at Atlanta already. I am kind of surprised to see tires going on this early. Almost want to stretch it like some of the drivers we've already seen do that. It's Chris Goins, first pit stop of the day. Let's see how the 41 maneuvers this after a hellacious week last week in the pit lane. Take care of it. Slippery pit road, locks up the rears. Comes to a stop. All right, clean entry. Doesn't have to readjust. Goins is going to go 4 tires and fuel as well. Drops the jack and goes, so no speeding on entry. So that's a clean pit stop. As long as he can get out of here without a problem, I think we'll be good to go. There you have it. Chris Goins, 4 tires and fuel, down and away. Derek Welch. Oh, Welch in trouble entering pit lane, gets it crossed up and sideways. Don't know if he had some help, but either way, he's got it righted and going in a good direction. Let's see how this happened here. Just in the transition from the banking to pit lane, a little bit hot, and he just locks up the rear brakes. Might have had too much rear brake into it, trying to get all he can on pit road, but nevertheless, did make some contact with that inside pit wall. We'll see if he has any damage to be concerned with. So Brett Guzik has gone back to the point, and his in and out significantly better than Drew Blaze. Now keep in mind, he did pit 1 lap sooner than Drew, but I can't imagine he made up all that time just in that 1 extra lap. So it's a combination, fast entering, not too fast of course, but getting every inch you can on the entry to pit lane and just getting it on the way out. Clean entry to the pit box, all of that. A 10th here, a 10th there, and it's added up to 5.3 seconds the advantage for Brett Guzik. We're going to take an HBR TV side-by-side break. We'll be back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, lap 40 in the books. Brett Guzik still with the race lead even through the pit cycle. Back to the point, still with a 6-second plus advantage over Drew Blaze, and that deficit's actually getting bigger between the two. So pit stops for the majority of these drivers happening between lap 25, I will say, and lap 30. 31, I think, was the longest we've seen anybody go, and that was John Timms. Yeah, lap 26 was the first pit stop. Lap 31 was the last. So you got a variation there. We kind of thought it would be in that relatively small fuel distance, that fuel range. We talked about the comparison between the Gen 4 Cup car. A little more fuel on board for those, but with added horsepower, but reduced drag. The trucks with the reduced horsepower and the added drag, burning fuel a little bit faster. Brandon Domain running in the third position. He's 13.8 seconds back from Guzik. Chris Goins, remember, started in the 17th position. He's already cracked the top 5 here just before, about 8 laps shy of halfway. Goins working on the 11 big time here, trying to get the pass. I have heard a couple of guys, it sounded like they're lifting and hitting the clutch to save some fuel. Might have been Dominic Rossi. Let's go on board and listen. Yeah, we heard that correctly. We'll get rid of the graphic here. Oh, he's trying to save it, and is he in the wall? He is. Rossi, while we're on board, I don't know if there was contact involved, but he gets slid up the racetrack. No caution, so we're just going to rewind it because I want to see what happened. So this is entry to turn number 1. So Rossi there in the middle in the 11. I think he's going to go 3 wide just because he's drifting. He's coasting in. But the 19, yeah, the 19's coming up. Just drives right into the left rear. Again, I don't think it was intentional, but nevertheless, that's how it went down. That's a pretty big hit. So Rossi just leaving the pit lane here. This is going to put him way off cycle. But we were talking about fuel save. Let's see if Chris Goins is doing this. Yeah, there you have it. Again, we'll get rid of the graphic. Hopefully he doesn't wreck now. Nobody out in front here as we're still 5.5 laps shy of halfway down the backstretch. Can we ride on board with Chris Goins in the number 41, the 4th place driver? Let's listen again. You see even on the tack in the middle of the dash, it drops down to about 1,100 RPM. That means he's letting out of the gas, pushing in the clutch, letting the truck roll all the way through the corner effectively at idle. So you're already running 175 miles an hour at that point, so it's just a friendly coast through the corner. That'll certainly increase the amount of laps you can get completed before you got to hit pit lane once again. He's trying to make this, what I would think he's trying to do is make this a 3-stop race. I don't know if it's even possible, to be honest. It's going to be close. Last pit stop, lap 30. If he comes at lap 60, that means he's got to go 40 to the end. And we got somebody spinning. That changes fuel big time. Chris Watkins having some trouble. I think this was the 5 that went around, but it puts us under the yellow flag. Now we got people with questions that need to answer. Is it going to be tires or no tires? Certainly some drivers that took tires at lap 30 probably not going to opt for them here. But those that took fuel only will probably decide, you know what, now's the time under the yellow flag. You don't have to worry about too much track position, and we'll just get it done from there. So let's see what we can see here with Chris Watkins. Oh, he spins it here. I'm not sure if that's off the nose of that other truck. That would be the 81. Let's rewind that again. Really looked like he just drove right into him. Dan Storm will ride on board here. So Dan slides up the track just a bit, gets back to the power, and then just gets right into the right rear of the 5 and just straight turns him. We'll go full speed here. And once he hits him, he doesn't lift. He gets back to the gas. So maybe something happened in there that we're not aware of, but nonetheless, not a good look. Lap 49 here. We're going to take a break. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Garza Law Firm Hot Atlanta 100. Currently on the 1 to go. We're just past the halfway point. Brett Guzik and Drew Blaze going to get another crack at it here. Both drivers pitting under this caution. Lap 48. That's the case all the way back to, I think, the 14th position in Kyle Morrison. Remember, Guzik had about a 6-second lead on Drew Blaze when that caution came out. We'll see if the battle continues. Both drivers opting, looks to be just fuel only on that last yellow flag stop. Base car is off.
Green flag.
Green flag in the air. We're back racing. No, wheel spin on these guys out in the front. Drivers through the grass. Looks like they get it gathered up. We stay green. Guzik out to a big advantage. Speedway spinning the tires on the restart, not able to get the power down. Guzik very smooth on the throttle, gets away from the rest of the field. Battling back here within the top 5, PJ Cox looking to the high side on the 88 of Brian Shepard. Shepard tucks in behind Drew Blaze. Blaze is slipped back to P3. Shepard has the 4th spot. Big gaggle of trucks back here. Oh boy, here we go. For the 7th spot, you see Winkler, that big red bullseye in the middle of that pack. They got it done, but we're 3 wide through the dog leg. Here we go. 3 wide into 1 still. Who's gonna lift? Goins up top, Chris Klein in the middle, and it was Mike Fahey on the bottom. We're still 3 wide. Blaze up top, Shepard in the middle. Blaze might have scraped the wall on exit. If anything, it might have pulled a decal off. Crazy racing here for the top 10. Meanwhile, we got a battle for the lead. Guzik and Brandon Domain going at it. They can't keep this up for long. We're 3 wide once again. Drew Blaze in the middle now. Back up. Domain goes to the point. Guzik slips back to 3rd. This is like the last 5 laps. What is going on here? We got 45 to go, guys. The battle between Snyder and Justin Johnson. Heath Snyder, remember we talked about him early on. He'd start making up positions through pit strategy. Well, here he is. He's up 24 spots, just past halfway. Plenty of time to be a contender here. Again, Snyder did take tires on that last pit stop, probably his first set, so he's probably in good shape for the balance of this race if we give another opportunity. He's still going to need to pit for fuel at least 1 more time. This does put everybody in the window where they can make 1 more stop, and I believe they'll make it to the end. Green flag coming out about lap 52. Lap 51 it was. So you say 30 laps, that's going to be 61. That's just inside the window. So that means these guys can probably push. They can race it out here. If you can go 30 laps on a full load of fuel, as long as we don't have any green-white checkers to be concerned with, I think we'll be okay for fuel sakes. Justin Johnson, a little bit of a tap coming from the backside from the 29 of Snyder. Meanwhile, the 88, that's Brian Shepard. He was giving the 10 a bit of a bump. He's going to go to the high side now, wants that 2nd spot. Just ahead, Mike Fahey and Chris Watkins trying to stay on the lead lap here. Not sure the situation, though. They pit during that last caution. And Chris Goins is in trouble. Still no caution. We've got a big wreck down here, and I think it's turn 1. 2 trucks badly damaged on the apron. I think Mitchell Howell being the other. Yeah, Howell's just parked, and he goes to pit lane. Now, obviously, in the real world, that absolutely would have been a caution for driver safety, but given that we're in the sim, unless they're in the way, you're not getting the yellow. Meanwhile, Kevin Winker goes to the point. 42 takes over the top spot. Snyder now back into P2. Justin Johnson slipping just a bit as a 77. Not on a lead lap, is trying to go on by. He's trying to get these laps back. Again, varying strategies and varying lap vehicles on the track right now, so you've got kind of a mixture of these trucks that are not where you think they are. Maybe battling for position, but not the positions that they're parked in right now. And Justin Johnson running in the 3rd spot. Kevin Winker out in front. Let's go back and take a look at the incident with Chris Goins, and I think it was Howell. It's happening in the dog leg. Oh, big. How did that not bring out a yellow? I mean, that was in front of traffic. Jonathan Arnn hits the wall, comes down and collects the 81, which thus domino effects down into Chris Goins. And then the 93 comes in. He takes a massive hit. I don't know how the yellow doesn't come out there. I don't think they're running a live admin here, but even with iRacing, that one absolutely should have been a yellow. You win some, you lose some. Tough break for Chris Goins, Howell, and the others. Winker still with the lead, but for how long? Pete Snyder closing in. Truck length off the back bumper. Both drivers on fresher tires. Winker still holding off the 29. 77 to John Timms closing in, though. He's trying to get back there and get his lap back. Might even pose a bit of a help to Snyder here if you can give him a bit of a draft, a push down the backstretch. Of course, the other side of the coin is it might loosen him up in the middle of the corner. Timms goes to the top. Snyder drops down, tries to get that back into clean air. Winker up the racetrack once again. Battle continues. Just a few laps shy here of possibly final round of green flag stops, depending on when these guys decide it's time. They can go a little bit longer if need be, or they can just come on down, take the tires and fuel for that final stop as soon as they hit their pit window. Be curious to see the strategy when that starts to unfold. With that, we still have a battle that's kind of happening here for the lead. Snyder can't complete the pass. We're going to take our final HBR TV side-by-side break. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Atlanta Motor Speedway. 30 laps to go, and the battle for the lead has not gone away or cooled off in the slightest. Snyder to the bottom, Winker up top, and they continue to fight for the lead here at Atlanta. That said, if anybody makes a pit stop from here, they're good to go on gas to the finish. We'll see who opts for it with the tire advantage, if they've got any left. Want to make a special note? It's been a while since I've seen this. I'm just here to watch Fahey wreck. Thanks, Tristan Sykes, for jumping in. We got, let's see, Nicole Scafidi saying, go Winker. Appreciate you guys jumping in. Brett Winker saying, let's go Winker. You got some Winker fans out here, as he does just lose the lead. Again, still need to do some pit stops before this one's over, so we'll see how all that shakes out. If I'm Winker, I'm going to come right now. I know I can make it to the end on fuel, kind of try and undercut the leader here, put some fresher tires on. You saw it work for Brett Guzik over True Blaze early on. We'll see if Winker can do the same. And there it is, Brett Guzik now coming down pit lane. Speaking of the 04, he's going to try and undercut everybody. He does it within the top 10 in the 8th position. See who else gets dragged down by this strategy move by Guzik. It's probably a good one. Guzik, a fast driver, but he's also a pretty good calculating driver. Kind of makes him pretty deadly out there. 4 tires and fuel for Guzik. And his primer gray 04, looking like he's in the test truck out there, putting a whooping on him early. We'll see if he's got enough to make it to the finish and win this race. First race back in quite some time. Guzik does lose a lap in that exchange, but again, everybody else going to need to make a stop here soon. 26 laps to go. Snyder's still out in front of the 42 of Winker. He's got about 3.5 tenths, and that is growing. I don't know how much longer I would wait if I'm the 42. I think you kind of have to just come down now. I know there's that risk that everybody worries about with the green-white checker. Well, what if I don't have enough? Well, do you want to win the race? Or do you want a good points day? It's early in the season. I think it's time to be aggressive. Come down, get those tires, that last bit of fuel, get back out there and just cross your fingers for no cautions. Brian Shepard up in the 3rd position. Got Derek Welch there on the bottom. Welch not on the lead lap. Remember, he had an issue under green flag conditions coming to pit lane. And speaking of coming to pit lane, here he comes. Kevin Winker going to try and pull the undercut. Comes down to pit road. It's 24 laps to go. Winker going to make his final stop of the race. Let's see if he still has an extra set over the wall. We didn't catch his first pit stop, but his last pit stop looks like he did put 4 fresh Goodyears on. We'll see if he's got anything left or if it's just fuel for the 42. Crew goes around, Jack underneath it. Right side's going on. Around to the left. 4 tires and Sunoco Racing fuel. Kevin Winker down and away. A good stop, 14.82 seconds. Now the question is, how long does Heath Snyder stay on the racetrack here? Because you know that 42 is going to be quick. This is where you can gain track position on the race lead, even though Winker has lost a lap in that exchange. Again, with everybody cycling back through, he could potentially cycle to the lead when this is all said and done. The wild card in this mix is going to be the 04 of Brett Guzik. Remember, he came down first, so he's on fresh rubber. He's going to be turning laps awfully quick. He's been one of the fastest trucks out here all afternoon long. 22 to go. Is there enough time? Also, do we worry about the caution? Barney seems to hold it in its, the flag holster, or the sheath, I guess you could call it, because you saw that massive wreck right underneath the eyes of Barney the flagman there in the dog leg with Chris Goins and others, and the yellow flag did not come out. Guzik in the 13th position. Brian Shepard, now the race leader. The cyclist stops. Snyder is in the pits. He has just finished up his stop, and it looks like he had tires as well, though a slower stop. 15.33 seconds for the 29, and I think he stayed out a couple of laps longer than Winker did. So we'll see how much that affects where he cycles back into the field as compared to the 42. Justin Johnson misses the box, has to back it up and straighten things out before he can get his pit work done. I would almost audible here to right sides only, but sometimes that's really hard to do while you're in the cockpit making that call. He's still going to take 4. PJ Cox pulls away. Now Brian Shepard from the lead. He hits pit road. Drew Blaze also peels down pit road here. He's going to make his final stop of the day, along with Ken Couch alongside, having a little bit of a hair-raising experience on the entry to pit lane. So keeping an eye on it, the 42 of Kevin Winker looks like he is going to cycle back to the point. 20 laps to go. Winker to the lead. Second place currently is the 88 of Shepard. Now it's Guzik. Now it's Snyder. And they're right with each other. Big pack of trucks out of turn number 2. Winker with a good lead here, almost 4 seconds. 20 to go. You've got Snyder, Guzik, and that primer number 04. And then you got Chris Klein, the 51. And then Brandon Dillmain rounding out the top 5. And that number 13, that black and red machine. I got to tell you, this has been a great one so far. And we still got 19 laps of racing. We're going to go all the way to the finish without a break unless we get a caution. If we stay green, though, no commercials. Courtesy of Garza Law Firm.
Caution.
Oh, and there's the caution.
You want something to drink?
Michael Eden
Yes,
in
we'll
trouble.
take a Captain Morgan and Diet
Parked
Coke.
there on the low side of the racetrack in the grass. Well, just when you thought it was said and done, the old broadcaster curses everybody and the caution comes out. Let's look at it and see what happened here. Was this coming to pit lane? Did he get a little bit late here? Let's back it up. I want to see. He's in the dog leg here. I don't know what he's doing. He drops it all the way down to the apron and then just spins out. Nobody hits him. Yeah, that's a caution, but Chris Goins and 3 other trucks exploding on the dog leg isn't. Got it. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I don't know if he had a hardware issue, he fell asleep, spilled his beer, I don't know. Well, here we go. It's going to set up an interesting race now. Winker's still with the lead, but now Snyder has 2 lap fresher tires. Lots of pace. He'll end up restarting on the outside. Now, honestly, if I'm Winker here, I opt, I don't know if this league allows it. I know some do, some don't, but if you're allowed to change lanes as the race leader, opt for the high line on the restart. If I'm Winker, I'm taking the top lane here because you've seen it. Very effective in defending the pass. You might get a guy underneath you, but if you can carry the momentum on the high side out of the corner, it's a great way to defend because you've got such a run down the backstretch and in some cases even through the dog leg that you can be the slower truck yet still not allow that guy trying to pass you to clear you. It can really frustrate the daylights out of the attacking driver, but it's 17 laps to go right now. I think we'll get the restart at probably 15 or 14 laps to go. Mitchell Howell says, I said the same thing. Stupid iRacing. Talking about that crazy caution that never happened. It is what it is. It's a video game, folks. I mean, well, okay, don't want to offend anybody. It's a simulation, whatever. It's on a video screen and we're competing. I think by definition that makes it a video game, but it's all right. I still like it, no matter what we call it. But with that said, we're not on the one to go just yet. We will going to jump out here, take one more quick break. We'll be back, hopefully, with the conclusion here of the Garza Law Firm Hotlanta 100. Stay with us.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Garza Law Firm Hot Atlanta 100 coming into its concluding laps. Less than 15 to go. Wrapping up caution number 2. Kevin Winker with the race lead on a turn number 2. We're on the 1 to go. So again, like we thought, be 14 laps to go when we get the green flag. It's going to be the battle between Winker and Snyder. Those two making their pit stops. Pretty much everybody within top 5 drivers making pit stops prior to or just before the caution. Looks like Brian Shepard may have gotten the opportunity to make his pit stop under the yellow. So he's got lap 80. Probably the freshest tires out there, but again, only a couple of laps. But again, Atlanta Motor Speedway, place is so abrasive, a couple of laps could make a pretty big difference. Stream chat's picking up in here. You got Mitchell Howell, you got the Cascone Diary, Alina Haynes, and Justin as the green flag waves. 14 laps to go, and we got trouble already. Guys spinning the tires, big time trouble, and the caution finally comes out. And involved in it is the 29 of Heath Snyder, as well as many others. Snyder trying to tiptoe through and not get any more damage than he's already received. Truck looks relatively clean, but man, that's going to really hurt his chances to win this race. Really help the chances of the 04 of Brett Guzik. Look where he's going to restart. Well, caution number 3. We've said it so many times. Cautions breed cautions. And again, we've talked about how tire wear is super, super important. Tire management being super important. Also, it's really important knowing that you are on worn out tires coming to the restart. If you can spin the tires that bad in these trucks, which by comparison, relatively underpowered. It's very much about momentum racing in the truck series, but again, if you don't clean them tires off, or if they're too cold, you don't get enough heat in them, get them ready to go, that is the byproduct. You can spin them on the restart, and we saw a lot of drivers doing just that. So let's see if we can get a better look at it here. This is the green flag. Yeah, you see Snyder trying to get the jump, put the power down, and he just kind of sways back and forth. He wasn't the only one. There were some other drivers mid-pack that had the exact same thing happening at the same time, but it was the consequence of all the drivers, A, trying to come up to speed, and B, try to avoid the 29 as it was trying to gather it up himself. Heath's got to be punching the dashboard right about now. Oh, and Brett Guzik, as we are talking about this, he's in the pits, or has just left the pits. Topped off the fuel. Maybe he's worried about a green-white check. And here the 35, I think it is, hitting the wall again, or the 55, Michael Eden. See, this is what happened on the previous caution. He just drove it down to the apron. He must be having some hardware problems or some connection issues. Either way, he does decide to tow, takes it to pit lane, but I want to go back once again. I don't know, maybe Guzik had some damage. Let's see. Yeah, Guzik has some damage. Snyder came and hit the left front, and then he comes down and makes some contact with the 51 of Chris Klein. Well, there you have it. Alina or Alina, I'm not sure how the pronunciation is, but says, Reagan says, go daddy. I don't think we're talking about the website. So it's looking like it's going to restart here. Kevin Winker, Chris Klein, Brian Shepard, PJ Cox, and Kyle Morrison, your top 5. We got the Cascone's diary. It says, Jason says go 89, also known as Uncle Jared. Jared Haynes, back the number 89 machine. See, this is why I like when the families get into the stream chat, because it gives us a chance to showcase some drivers that we may or may not have been talking about during the race. Get a little bit of TV time for the number 89 of Jared Haynes. Meanwhile, Brandon Domain is going to hit pit road here as well. Still some damage on the 13. This just might be a clean it up type stop. I think he's the last truck on the lead lap. Close to it, that is. Domain, yeah, looks like he is the last truck on the lead lap. So top off the tanks, get a little more repairs made, make that truck a little sleeker than it was with the damage. So, coming to the green flag once again. Pace car lights are off, so we are on the one to go. Field working turn number 4. Let's see how this one goes again. Does everybody make it through this time? Are they smart enough to be careful on throttle, or are they just greedy enough to try and push the issue? They're race drivers. I think they're greedy. We'll see what happens. Green flag in the air. Let's try it again. That looks a little better. Winker with the lead. Chris Klein running in the second spot. The two red trucks in the top line. Down low, it's the 88 of Brian Shepard. To his outside, the 11 of Dominic Rossi. PJ Cox in 5th. 8 laps to go. Winker holding him off for now. Again, no major advantage for tires for just about everybody here within the top 5. The best looks like Brian Shepard. His pit stop at lap 80. Caution quickly came out. I think it was right at lap 78, so not a whole lot of tire degradation between the two drivers. But again, as we said, we're in Atlanta. Every lap counts. Big action here in the further part of the pack here. That second pack that's formed up. It looked like Derek Welch almost in an issue, though Welch still not on the lead lap. Winker looking very strong as the battle for second shaping up. Dominic Rossi in the 11 up top. Chris Klein down low. Shepard still hanging in the wings in P4. Let's go on board with the 88. Looks to the inside of Chris Klein for third spot. Of course, I say 88. We're on board with Dominic Rossi in the 11. And there goes Brian Shepard. We were just talking about him. He's up into the third spot, but Rossi's going to battle back. A little bit of contact out of 4 into the dogleg. Tough place, scary place to do it. Shepard makes the pass. Rossi made him earn it. Less than 5 laps to go. Winker holding off to 51 of Chris Klein. Fast lap last time by, 31.98 for Kevin Winker, but not as fast as Klein with a 31.91. He's about a tenth faster. Can he get position on the 42 with 4 laps to go? We've seen it happen all race long. If you can maintain that high side, you can be the slower truck and still maintain the position. You just can't get clear on the bottom. See if Winker remembers that as one car gets a piece of the wall. Looks like it was Justin Johnson. Indeed it was. And back up topside. The racetrack, the 42 of Winker, doing exactly what we just talked about, trying to build and maintain momentum around this racetrack. We said it with these trucks, not a ton of power, not a lot of horsepower under the hood of these machines. You've got to maintain momentum. Up on the top, Winker noses back out in front. Klein alongside. 3, now 2.5 laps to go. Down the back stretch, they drag race. Klein to the inside, but to his outside. Now it's the 88 of Shepard. We talked about Shepard. He's got fresher tires than these two drivers, albeit only a couple of laps, but it does make a difference. Coming to 2 laps to go. Winker across the stripe. One more time around, we'll see the white. Winker trying to defend, running for his life the best he can as the bump coming from the 88. He tried, wasn't able to get in there and make any contact. Taking a peek, trying to get some clean air on the nose of that Sunoco Chevrolet. Cross the stripe, white flag in the air. Final lap for Kevin Winker. Can he hold him off? Still to the bottom, Brian Shepard with a slight tire advantage out of turn number 2. Down the back straightaway for the final time. Winker with the lead. If I was him, I'd try to break the draft here, but too late. Back into 3. Winker's got one more run, and to the bottom goes Shepard. He's there. He's got a nose out in front, but will Winker power back on the outside? It's like Harvick and Gordon at the stripe. Winker's gonna win it. Second place, Brian Shepard. Chris Klein is 3rd. Heath Snyder, PJ Cox, your top 5. Cody Dean in the stream chat says, what? You should say, have you ever? All I gotta say is, great race, LSR. Great race. Where's my cameraman on foot when I need him? Celebration continues here in the dogleg at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're going to jump out here real quick, get our final commercial break out of the way. We'll be back with our top 3 after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Hotlanta 100 LSR Truck Series, race number 2, presented by the Garza Law Firm, in the books. Kevin Winker, a thrilling victory here tonight. Started in that 7th position. Takes home the checkered flag. Let's pull K-Dub 42 up into the HBR TV broadcast booth. Kevin, it's Steven, HBR TV. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Man, oh man, what a finish, what a race. You put the truck in qualifying in the 7th starting position in row 4. Didn't see a whole lot out of you throughout the course of the race, but sometimes that's a good thing. You kept all 4 corners in that truck pretty clean, and here you are with a checkered flag, man. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, I probably had top 5 speed. The strategy kind of worked in my favor there. That first green flag pit stop, I didn't take tires, and the leader did Blaze and I think 0-4, and then I kind of undercut there. That second stop, I took tires. Then the caution came out, and then oh no, the last stop I undercut. Sorry, the last stop I undercut. The caution came out, and then I was like, here we go, here goes this race. And then the 29, I think, Gus spun his tires on the restart and jacked the whole field up, and then I was just kind of on from there. But yeah, I mean, what can I say? Get a win in my first start here in this league, so I can't get much better than that.
Certainly a great way to start things off. Congratulations on that. I know with only 2 tire sets to be concerned with, there was varying strategies. Of course, like you said, it was Brett Guzik and Drew Blaze. They both took tires on that initial stop, but there was a lot of drivers that opted not to. I was personally kind of surprised to see those drivers take tires after just 30 laps, and all in all, in the end, certainly worked out for you. Was that the plan from the beginning, or was that kind of an audible?
That was kind of the plan. I knew with 2 sets, we were going to have to pit, I think 3 times minimum. So with 2 sets, I was going to do the math. So I wanted to kind of bank a set. Plus, you never know with a late race caution. So I was kind of banking on that, and it all worked out for me, obviously. So I'll take it.
Certainly did. Next week, we go to another tire eater. It's out at the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware. How do you feel about your chances at Dover?
I'm, I guess, okay at that. I can't seem to stay the right front there. But I know we start from the back with the ELO rule penalty for the winner. But we'll go out, get our best shot, see what we can do.
Take care of the truck for sure. Kevin, congratulations, man. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Oh, as always, I want to go shout out to Bruce Muehlberger. Muehlberger Custom Poles Scrum Board sponsored me. He's a huge support of mine. He's sponsored me in all my races, and weeks, so can't thank him enough for coming aboard and watching all of them. Second, I want to thank all Winker Nation, my girlfriend Shauna, Brett, Nicole, Justin, Brandon, Dylan, all them guys that support me every night watching me. Then my teammates, Derek Welch, Chris Klein, and Tim Stubblefield for letting me on board. Derek actually told me to join the league. I wasn't here last week. I was looking for their league to race. He was like, come over to Lonestar. I said, all right, I'll give it a shot. And then came over there. So thanks to him for letting me come on and run with his team. And then the league admins for running this league. It's a great league to be part of. And then you, as always, you do a hell of a job broadcasting. We appreciate it.
Well, Kevin, appreciate the kind words. If you are so kind, too, if you can find Ryan Shepard over in the LSR Discord, send him our way. We'd appreciate it.
All right, I'll look for him. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. It's Kevin Winker, your race winner here at Atlanta. We've got Chris Klein available, our 3rd place finisher, so we'll switch things up just a bit and bring the driver of the number 51 machine into the broadcast booth. It's Chris Klein. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Chris, congratulations, man. A solid run, 3rd place finish. Top 3 is always a good thing, but man, you passed a lot of trucks tonight. 19 positions gained. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, disappointed in myself in qualifying. I slipped off the corner and just couldn't gather it back up fast enough. And then when I tried, slipped again and totally destroyed my qualifying run. And so yeah, started in the back and just set my mind to saving tires, which I'm not good at. As mentioned before, this is a tire saving strategy race from the very beginning. And all the guys over on our team decided we were going to try to go 50 laps on the first set of tires and then pit and then have 2 sets for the next 2 stops, and it ended up working out for us. We got lucky with some pits with some caution strategies, and we just got really lucky tonight.
Well, you got to put yourself in position, then the luck falls into place, and you end up with the top 3. Congratulations. Of course, next week things are a little bit different. We're going to Dover, Delaware, certainly a track that's also known for chewing up tires. How do you feel about your chances?
I've never had a lot of success at Dover. I'm learning this concept of saving tires. My teammates Derek and Mark and Joe over at NTR have been trying to help me better understand the principle behind it and get a better feel for it and be fast and save tires. And I'm hoping for a better showing than I've had in the past, that's for sure.
Yeah, Dover's a place, it's a lot of fun. It takes a lot of concentration to be good there. But at the same token, you do have to find a way to save tires. If you can't do that, it's not really going to work out great for you. But if you just kind of slow things down, back up your corner entry, does seem to help. You can save that right front quite a bit, kind of roll into the corner a little bit, let the car flatten and bottom out at the bottom of the racetrack, let it set, and that thing will work pretty good. I'm not the greatest at it, but there is a method to the madness. Just got to turn the laps and see what works and what doesn't.
Yes, sir. Look forward to trying it.
Well, Chris, thanks for talking to us, man. Before we let you go, who do you want to thank?
First and foremost, want to thank everybody over at Beaver Toyota. We're trying to do things different. We're a different kind of car dealership, doing things different over there, making a difference in our community, giving back a lot over in our community. Something that a lot of car dealerships don't do and aren't known for. Very proud to be a part of that team over there. Want to thank Justin and all of his guys over here at Lonestar. They put on some great races, and thank them for allowing us to come over here and be a part of them. Thank all my teammates over at NTR for coming over and racing with us, or allowing me to come race with them over here. Just really enjoy it. Thank you for putting on the broadcast. Enjoy going back and watching them and getting some insight on what happened throughout the race.
Well, Chris, once again, congratulations. A solid top 3 finish. We wish you the best of luck next week at Dover, and thanks for talking to us.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.
It's Chris Klein, your third place finisher. Still no word from Brian Shepard just yet. Unable to get him up into the broadcast booth. So with that, we're going to take a peek here at our official race results before we get too far into the weeds with things. Of course, Kevin Winker, your race winner. Brian Shepard, still haven't heard from him as of yet. He was second. Chris Klein, P3. Heath Snyder finishes in the 4th spot, which honestly, a pretty good recovery for the 29 after spinning the tires on that restart, sustaining some damage, having to get that fixed. Came back and finishes within the top 5. PJ Cox was 5th. Justin Johnson, P6. Drew Blaze, strong early on, finishes 7th. Brett Guzik, also strong early on, but looks like Drew won the battle between the two of them. He finishes in the 8th spot. Scott Beardmore was 9th. 10th goes to Brandon Domain. Chris Goins, even after his hellacious wreck in the dogleg, finishes 11th. Kyle Morrison was 12th. Dominic Rossi finishes 13th. John Timms was your 14th place finisher. 15th went to Jared Haynes. Sean Roberts, back from injury. He seems he's doing okay. Finishes 16th. Mike Fahey back again. Good to see Mike here. Finishes 17th after a strong run early. Timmy Stubblefield was 18th. The Iceman himself, Andy Sizemore, was 19th. Derek Welch was 20th. Chris Watkins, 21st. 22nd, Ken Couch. 23rd, Dan Storm. 24th, Randy Coaching. Michael Eden was 25th, 17 laps down. Jonathan Arndt, 26th. Last but not least, it was the number 93 of Mitchell Howell, finishing 27th, 44 laps down. I don't think we're going to get to hear from Brian Shepard, but either way, a solid effort here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway. It was certainly a great race. We do appreciate all you guys jumping into the stream chat. This was a great race to call, probably one of the best that I've called in quite some time. So if your friends haven't seen it, this would be a great one to share with the group. Watch at least the last 25 laps. So many storylines playing out, and then a close finish at the end. We had them side by side off of 4 on the white flag lap. Kevin Winker just drives on by, takes the checkered flag. If you guys haven't already done it, check us out, the website, hbrtv1.com. Also on YouTube, of course, youtube.com/@HBRTV and the number 1. Give us a like, follow, share, and subscribe. Again, just recently getting over 600 subscribers. We do really appreciate that. Just want to keep that number growing, get it up into that 700 range, and then keep moving. Sky's the limit. It's all because of you guys, and we do appreciate it. Make sure you guys tune in next week. We've got plenty of racing Monday through Thursday, but if you're looking just for LSR, a week from today, about 7:45 in the East at Dover Motor Speedway, the Monster Mile. Thanks for watching, folks. Have a good night.